Wait, what? Weird.
silly for about 5 minutes of services.
And then it's like all sweaty or what?
It's just like 8 months.
Yeah.
I'm not used to having hair.
Or any.
Right. Or any hair at all. That's right. Oh,
I just picked up my guitar again recently for the first time in a couple of years.
yeah.
Had to replace a string that I never did myself before. I figured it out. So I play very little. You know, chords and.
Right. So we're similar. The only difference between you and me is that I'm constantly practicing. But other than that, I think we're exactly the same. But I love it. And what I love about it particularly is having picked it up late in my life and learned something new.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm very proud. It's like, and you can start, and you can feel when you're improving, right? It's like, I know where I started from, and I remember it's like when I started, it was like, I'm going to do one song. And now it's like, do whatever,
That's great.
It doesn't mean I'm good, it just means I'm more comfortable. I love it, even if I'm not very good at it. So like whenever Tom's here, it's like, and he'll even say, don't play, because it's like I'm messing him up, because I don't have good rhythm, right? And and he's just, he makes all sorts of different things, whereas I am
Shapes, finding.
shapes. And that's the difference. He knows the music, so he knows the notes, and he knows the various notes that make up the various chords. I mean, I suppose I could figure that out, but instead, all I know is this is the shape for a C, this is the shape for a E minor, D, G, I just know my shapes.
That's always fun when you learn a complicated chord and you can do it.
Right, but I haven't, are you able to do bar chords?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I can't get them down. I'm having a really hard time. Because I feel like whenever
I mean, that's right. Look.
No, it's like I
You're just not
can't.
getting enough.
Yeah, it's like I don't. Whatever.
If you tried a different guitar.
Maybe. Some people have suggested that to me. Like,
is this the first and only guitar you've ever had?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's kind of a starter guitar, but I kind of like it. Even though it's a starter, I didn't like it. So yeah, I can't get my bar chords done.
I took lessons when I was a teenager, probably 11 or 12 I started. It took me for a few years.
Yeah. Oh, then you're way.
Don't read music at all. You know,
Right.
Just chords. Show me the chords.
Chords, right. And then I'll just.
And the, what do they call it? They show you the little charts of the chords. I don't read music, but.
I mean, if you see a song and it has a chord on top of it.
Shows you like the C and the,
Right.
But I don't look at the notes and know what it is.
Yeah. So, like, for a musician, like, if I were to show them a song with literally just A on top of the words, they would be like, I can't, it's, how am I supposed to know? But if they see the sheet music, it's like, da, 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 right?
Yeah.
Whereas for me, the sheet music means nothing to me.
Right.
I just need the chords.
Right.
So for me, what's helpful is that I know most of the songs by heart. I both how to sing that, and I know the words, and so therefore, if I didn't really know the words very well, then it would be hard because I'd be constantly looking at words and looking at notes and looking at chords. And then it's what makes it easier for me to be able to pull something off is because I really only have to look at the chords. Like, so when I'm here, I'm staring at the chords.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that I, do the chords. And I know the music, and I know the words well enough to be able to play.
Do you take lessons with an instructor, or is it more?
I did for about 2 months.
Okay.
For about a year and a half, about a year, a little bit more than a year ago, or was it 2 years ago now? I can't remember. Maybe a year and a half ago, I was taking weekly lessons, and it was great. I really liked them, but it was online. But it was fine. He did a good job with it, But what ended up happening was that I plateaued, and I ended up, we were just kind of talking about random stuff, and it was nice. I liked talking to him, but the point was that it was like I wasn't, it's not that I couldn't learn from him, but I wasn't learning from him. And I think now I could go back and I could say, I need you to help me.
Show me some.
I need to, like, I want to do a barcode. I need you to work with me until I get my barcode down. And that'll help me. And maybe he'll be like, look, the guitar and that.
It could be maybe the way.
Right, another person once said, sometimes if you get them, like I strum the strings, I mean, I think I'd be fine, but it's like someone once told me that there's ways to have the strings like out more. Yeah, exactly. No, I don't understand it. I just,
right.
And maybe that'll help. I don't know.
If you went to a guitar store.
They can do that for sure.
Or just looking at it, picked up another guitar or something.
Right.
Oh, what?
Well, I can do a barcode.
That sounds really cool.
That's right. But I have learned a fair number of cheats, right? It's like, okay, this is so let's see here. With a B wait, hold on a minute. This, and this is like the B minor,
Which is a nice chord.
right? But that's a hard one because it's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I have like this is my B minor cheat, right? Which is good enough.
Yeah.
Similarly, the F, which is what this, this, I cheat on the F too, and but it's not. That's my F. I got a couple of cheats. You know what? By the way I look at it is if I can sing loud enough, I just try to drown out my B minors. Right. I just out-sing my B minors. Let me see if I can tune this thing.
If I strung that new string last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I don't know something to tune with. I went on YouTube. There's different.
I have a couple of apps on my phone too.
Pitch pipe. One string and then I do the rest from there.
I need a good old pitch pipe. Let's see here. Let's see, where's my little, what happened to my guitar tuner? Oh, here. This little tuner thing.
Ah, okay. Once I get the first string, I can do the rest.
By then holding this,
By the fifth and the fifth.
No. I'm there.
The lucky guy.
When I got the ticket, I said, oh, this is my lucky number. It's like 7 times. Like,
Life's good. Life's good. It was very nice. I went back to Florida. See, Fred was going to come with me. And then he went down to Florida to visit his daughter. See all his and he went to He said, Dad, and I said, oh,
I had no idea what we were in store for.
no, but great. Where's Gabe?
Say again?
Gabe.
So there was a question as to, it was like, right, it wasn't clear if he was supposed to be coming here tonight.
I thought he was doing the Megillah reading.
That's correct. But that's what I thought too, but turns out that he wasn't scheduled to be here.
Okay,
So, whatever.
all right. Merv's not here, so I'm
Yep.
gonna sit up here with you.
Great, thanks.
If she shows up, I'll give the seat to her.
She's not coming. She's not coming.
No. That's okay.
Yeah, she just said she's staying, she's probably listening. Hi, Merv.
But you know, the president always gets precedent.
Yes, that's why it's called president.
All right. We have that. Ooh. I couldn't have brought you better wine. What do you need?
Nothing.
Is that a Megillah?
Yeah.
Eket? Oh.
Yeah. It's a little harder because there's no vowels in it. But since it's a real Megillah, it's like,
Oops.
it's at least pretty authentic.
Very cool.
And that, by the way, is something that was here before I got here. That's a Temple Beth Shalom Megillah, not an Ari Next.
Wait a minute. I believe that, now that you mentioned that, I believe that is true.
Yeah.
I believe, I had seen that before.
Like a lot of things here are, Goldsteins. Anything that's written on parchment without vowels in this building is not mine.
It's not yours.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
That means Torah scrolls and Megillahs.
Okay. All right, what do you need?
Nothing. Got a couple minutes to go.
All right.
Oh yeah, I could use a pause.
Yes, probably have some time. I'm gonna go open the door.
Hi, Sally. What's that?
Should we be recognizing you? You wish you had hands in career.
That's right, I do.
How did that other face take down?
Get a bus out playing Paradise City for St. Child Line.
Or what's that, like, guitarist Queen?
Oh yeah, Brian, a little bit Brian May too. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, he's just here as a young Getty Williams.
Yeah, I put that on Getty Williams. I don't know any Rush
That's
songs.
Rush, right?
Yes.
Today's Tom Sawyer, me. You can take a picture. That's right. All of your favorites. Let's see. All right. So how are we doing? Oh, I got 7 o'clock. Perfect. So, God, I was kind of thought everyone was coming in costume. No, I'm joking. I know we didn't really, but it's Purim, right? So I would just be a little silly. I'll probably end up taking this thing off shortly, but for the time being, so long as I can handle it on my head, I'll leave it on. In the past, by the way, like Purim, Friday night Purim, you never knew what you were going to get here. Like, you know, I have done some bizarre things here. I've done some exceedingly irreverent things as well. I've done things which you would gasp and say, oh my God, I cannot believe he did that. I have done things, I seem to remember 4 years ago, I took the entire service and did a parody of all of the politicians who were running for president. That one, I thought that was a really good one too, actually, but I was really proud of that one. But today, just kind of doing a little bit more of a Shabbat service with a little Purim stuff, but I thought I would lighten the mood with a little wig, but I assure you the wig's probably coming off in about somewhere in the next 5 to 10 minutes, because already it gets in my mouth and it's, how do you guys do this? I got to put it back in a ponytail. But if I do that, the whole thing will come flying off. All right, so we are on page, we're going to start with Chag Purim. And Chag Purim, I think, is on 673. Is that possible? Oh, good. Okay. 673, Chag Purim. By the way, welcome to anyone who's watching on our stream, of which I know there are some. Glad to have you here. Chag Purim. That's how we begin. Chag Purim, Chag Gadol HaYehudim, Masechot, Rosh Hashanim, Zmirot, Pekudim, Havan Risha, Havan Risha, Havan Risha, La Rosh Hashanim, Chag Purim, Chag Gadol HaYehudim, Masechot, Rosh Hashanim, Zmirot, Pekudim, Havan Risha, Havan Risha, Havan Risha, Barashani. All right, that's a good way to start. It's getting silly to start with. So the thing that we will do this evening, for sure, a little bit later, is read a little bit of the Megillah. And by the way, this is an official, authentic Megillah. It's a scroll on parchment, no vowels, much like the Torah. And so that'll be kind of fun. Trust me, I won't be doing everything. But I will be doing a little bit. And for those of you who are young and who are here, that I know that you're young and here, so if you're like bored or sleepy or anything like that, you can say something. Because remember, it's Purim. Or at least Purim's coming up in a couple days, and so or tomorrow night. So, you know, you're welcome to interrupt me. You're welcome to
What's that?
well done. You're welcome to interrupt me. You're welcome to mock me. You're welcome to insult me. You're welcome to distract me. You're welcome to do whatever you want. If we make mistakes, then we'll say it was done on purpose. Because this is Purim, and we can be playful and we can be silly. But we are going to light the Shabbat. It is also Shabbat. Let's not forget. So we're going to light the Shabbat candles as well. So, page 121, or 120. Whoa, okay. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And now 123 Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hakafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziyat mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'charta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabat l'chaim. I'm trying to think. It's all of the various different things I used to do when I was younger to mess with because it's like not only are you permitted, but you're downright encouraged to mess with the service, so it's not exactly what it's supposed to be. And when I was in rabbinical school, we used to have a field day with that stuff. But those days are long gone. I'm getting a little bit older. But we're going to do, so let's do a Shabbat song. So this is Dodi Lee, and it can be found on page 129. Hopefully you will join me in singing Dodi Lee. This, by the way, is a spring song, a song of spring. That's why we sing this and so many other things from Song of Songs during Passover, because it reminds us of spring. Dodi Li ba'ani lo haroeh b'shoshani. Dodi Li ba'ani lo haroeh b'shoshani. Mihizot olam min hamidbar, mihizot olam mikuteret mor, moru levona, moru levona. Dodi li ba'ani lo haroeh b'shoshani. Dodi li ba'ani lo haroeh b'shoshani. Libavtini achoti chala, libavtini chala, libavtini achoti chala, libavtini chala. Dodi li ba'ani lo haroeh b'shoshani. Dodi li ba'ani lo haroeh b'shoshani. Uri zahafo uvo itema. Uri zahafo uvo itema. Dodi li ba'ani lo haroeh b'shoshani. Dodi li ba'ani lo haroeh b'shoshani. Thank you. I think the time has come. Do I have permission from, okay, I'm just asking anyone under the age of 9. If you're 9 or younger, you can vote. Would you like me to take the wig off or keep the wig on? And I want votes to be take it off. but I will go with what you said. So if you want me to take the wig off, raise your hand. All right, wait, that was 0, but let's see the other way. If you want me to leave the wig on, raise your hand. Oh, no, there were votes. All right, fine. It's staying on. Ugh. I should have asked it differently.
You can take another vote in a little while.
Later. Or what I should have said was this. Let's do a new vote. New vote. If you don't want me to leave the wig on because I am wearing it now, but if were I not to have it on, you would be fine if I didn't take off the wig that I don't have on, raise your hand. All right, fine, I can take it off then. All right, I'm leaving it on. Let's continue. We're going to be on, this is the Baruch Hu. It's on page 146. I'd like for you to rise if you don't mind. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vahed. Yai lai 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 lai. I was going to do some English, but let's skip that and go straight to the Shema. We're on page 152 now. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vahed. Please be seated. Let's continue with the Via Hafta on the next page, which is 154. Via Hafta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha, vishinantam levanecha, vidibarta baham, vishivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha baderech, uvshochbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot bein inecha. Uchtavtam amuzot betecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kidoshim leloechem ahani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem mieretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Before we continue, I've been trying to figure out what costume this young man is wearing. What costume is that? That's a good costume. You don't want to tell me? Formula One, a race car driver? Oh my word. Would you? Wow. Would you be willing to come and stand right here so everyone on the camera can see you in your great costume too? You don't have to. It's okay. Another time. Another time. Anybody else wearing like a full-blown costume here? No? Mary, you're wearing, that's not a costume? That's your real clothes. Okay, fine. All right, so this was me getting a little playfully creative this morning. Micha Mocha oftentimes is the prayer that is affected the most of anyone. And you can mess with it, or you can just put it to a different tune. And so I decided to put it to a tune written by, I think, John Lennon. No, not Yellow Submarine. I guess I could have, but I didn't, just because that wasn't the one that I thought about. But so let's see. You'll figure it out sooner or later. You got to. You'll figure it out sooner or later. But by the way, if I'm tripping up on it, it's because this is the first time I've ever sung this song, other than this one. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot tosef ele, Nora tehilot tosef ele, Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh. Think you got it now? I hope you do. Malchutecha ra'u b'nehecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'elianu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ha'ed. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh. That was the scariest one of the day for me. Now, would anyone who is under 21st like to say what is the name of that song? That not Micha Mocha, like what was the name of the Beatles song? Miranda. Good try. That is, I'm going to give you partial credit for that. Because that's a line in the song, but the song is, did you know the line in the song?
I pretty much know the song, I just can't remember.
Obladi, oblada, life goes on, ra la la, how the life goes on. Obladi, man, they're good. The Beatles were good. They didn't ever have a song that wasn't good. Everything that they did was phenomenal. What's that? Did Paul write it with them? The two? Yeah, it's true. It was always the two of them. In fact, oftentimes Paul would be the first writer, and then John would come in and just make it insanely good. This is Paul? Well said. All right, so we're going to continue with Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, which is the tefillah. You can find it on page 164. Please rise again. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, V'yahagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, V'yahagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Ahavot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Uzer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid Hagah Hashem, Mechalkel Hayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekahayem Emunato, Lishenei Ahafar, Michamocha Bal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechahayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah la'achayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. There we go. All right, so you could probably tell that we're doing some skipping, so we could do Megillah in a minute. So let's see. I just want to get the camera better. Sorry. There we go. All right. So we're going to do one of my favorite things to do, which is share a little bit of joys and struggles that we have, and so. You just, if you want, you just raise your hand if you want to share. If you don't want to share, you don't have to. No one has to do anything, but we want you to. Because we like to share the joys that we have, and we like to share the struggles too, because it helps us feel more like a community. And so, and after every couple times, we'll probably sing a couple words, which are Kenyihi, which means may. So, joys, Rob, you got joy time.
Our daughter Valerie got married about 2 weeks ago.
Really? Mazel tov. You like the fella?
He's great.
Yeah. That's important. That gets its own thing. Mazel tov, that's such great news. Yes. There.
My husband and I are going to go to Longwood Gardens on Monday and Tuesday.
That's in Philly,
to see
right?
the blue poppies.
Purple poppies?
Blue poppies.
Blue poppies.
Yes.
Wow. That sounds like fun.
And it's to celebrate my birthday.
Ooh. Happy birthday to one.
It's on Friday.
It's on Friday anyway. We'll just think it on Friday, like a week from today.
We get to celebrate it all.
That's like Murph. She does birth month. Any other joy? Who wants to? Yeah.
So I went to visit my grandson with my daughter. My grandson was studying in Copenhagen. And we discovered that when we went to the public library, across the street from the public library, is a synagogue.
Yeah?
So we saw two Danish military men guarding, and we asked about going in, they said no, we couldn't. But they said we could email, so we emailed, talked to whomever, the secretary,
Right.
or whatever, and she said, well, on Friday night or Saturday morning we're leaving, but Friday night work, she said, bring a passport and come at 6 o'clock. We were all excited, we got there 6, talked to a Danish policeman, he said, no, you have to go down by the gate, and then somebody let you in. The last person who was guarding them was an Israeli. I don't know if it was Mossad or IDF. He said, let me see your passport. We showed our passports, and he said, no. He He said, this is just for the community.
Why did they tell you you could come?
We showed him the email, and he said, no.
Really?
And I said, how big is the community? He said, about 1,000. And I said, well, we're just here, Mr. Benson said, blah, 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 blah. No. We were really sad.
Yeah. I wouldn't have put this in the joys.
As we were walking there, I kept thinking, well, I'm finally going to contribute on Friday night. I'm going to come here, of course, because I'm here. And I said, I'm going to be able to contribute. Everybody's going to be all excited because I went to the synagogue. And they said, no. Oh,
You went to the synagogue instead of in. It's still good that you visited your grandkids and built it against them. So it's still a joy.
it wasn't.
More joy. Anybody else? Yes.
My first grandchild.
Really? Who's dressed up? Wow.
He brings so much joy to my life.
I can imagine. By the way, I just want you to know, this is not my real hair. Not my real hair. That's right. This is not how all rabbis look. Other joy? Yes, Miranda.
We had an in-school concert yesterday.
An in-school concert yesterday.
Yes, we performed for some of the grades, and
And how did it go for you?
headache.
Let me guess. Was it all a bunch of reporters? Because that would give me a headache too.
We played a saxophone.
Saxophone.
It played for like
I'm so glad to hear. I'm so glad to hear. Tom.
My both daughters were home for 3 days, and that was a great joy. Could be, part of that could be in this section, could be the next section we're sharing, is that the dog that was dropped off with us for just a short time last August remains in our house.
How is that like a thing? Like, don't they, it's like, isn't there like a 2 weeks and that dog's out on its, it's going to be, I'm glad your daughters are there. More joy, yes, David.
Our 25-year-old grandson got a big promotion and pay raise, moved out of his apartment into a rented house, and is hosting 30 people for Passover.
Wow, that's a joy. Anybody else want to share? All right, even though it's not a joy that I've experienced, it's anticipatory joy, and that counts for me. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a fun forum here for adults, and it's adults based on the what shall be consumed. It's adult consumption. There's going to be a Persian old-fashioned, a Mordecai Mai Tai. There's going to be, I think, it's a Purim peach Bellini. Those are 3 I know. I think there's also going to be Iraq lemonade. And there's going to be, not Iraq, although that's funny, I didn't think about that. But Iran is where Shushan was, not Iraq. And there's going to be it's coffee martini. I think that's what, and then there's one more too. So we're going to have all sorts of fun, different drinks, not to mention wine, for those who are not as adventurous. And Hamantash and Megillah, and it's going to be games, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's anticipatory joy. That's tomorrow night. Hopefully, it's not the story of Noah and the flood here in Arnold and McNaughton. Any other joy before we move on? All right, so let's Baruch Adonai b'melech chasadim tovim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, for partnering with us in the many joys that are in our lives.
And along with the joy is a recognition of struggle, and loved ones of ours are in need of healing. And I know that it's Purim and are coming up, and there's a silliness that's associated with this, but at the same time, there are some serious moments like this in which we bring to mind loved ones who are in need of healing. And so the blessing begins, Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, V'imotenu, Sarah, Kalev, Rachel. And those words mean, may the one who bless our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. May God bless and heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. And if you'd like to share a name of a person in need of healing, just kind of give me a little signal and I'll acknowledge you. Yeah, Sid. Leslie Harris, for sure. Thank you. Anybody else want to share a name? Yes.
Gloria Rosen.
Gloria Rose. Thank you. Lynn Osborne.
Lynn Osborne and
Richard Childs. Thank you.
Reva Kelly.
Reva Kelly.
Chuck and Sue Fawnin.
Chuck and Sue. Thank you. Yeah.
Stanley Holden,
Stanley Holden. Thank you.
Ruth Ann Shea.
Ruth Ann Shea.
And Lorraine.
Mira, yeah. Bobby Wendell. Thank you. I have a couple of names I'd like to share also. Do you have I forgot you were behind me. I'd also like to add to that Allison Herman, Shoshana Rivka Batsipura, Oren Zwick, and Peter Goldstein. Bishlach lehem bimheira refuah shalema. May God send them speedily a complete recovery. Refuah tanefesh for refuah taguf, for healing of body and a healing of spirit. B'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar amen. And let us say amen. 371, if you want to join me in singing Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Li'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. So let's pause for a moment of silence. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'himu amen. Yaseh shalom
Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yahaseh Shalom, 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 Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. All right, so I invite you, hold on, let's take this thing off. And let's do another vote. New vote. If you are the type of person that thinks that this hair looks better on someone else, and for that reason I shouldn't want to take it off, but I should therefore not take off what was once there, but is now currently going to be there in the future, then raise your hand. And if you don't agree, the other, raise your hand. Yes, so that's pretty much unanimous. It's coming off. Oh, thank God. Feel much more comfortable with a kippah on than a wig on. All right, so we're going to do, a head covering is a head covering. So here is a Megillah, an actual Megillah, not just written on a book, but a scroll written kind of by a scribe in the same way the Torah would be written. Anyone is welcome to participate in this with me. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do it from down here so we can have a little bit more fun. But and so you can come up a little closer. But let me just tell you a little bit about it. And that is, you probably heard this story before. At least maybe you have. It's about this guy named Abraham. He lives in, no, I got the wrong story. Wait, scratch that, reverse it. Okay, it's about King Ahasuerus. Now, I know some of you like to call him Ahasuerus, but it's not his name. I mean, it's like, ugh, can't even say that name. So King Ahasuerus, and Ahasuerus loved to throw these parties. And he was, in fact, if you want to think about who he was, it's very possible that he was, or the person that we refer to as Ahasuerus, was Xerxes. And he had these enormous parties, and he certainly did not have a, let's call it feminist sensibilities, because he wanted his really beautiful wife, Vashti, who was the queen, to dance for him. And not just him, but all the people who came to his party. So it's like kind of wrong on a lot of levels. But not kind of, very much wrong on a lot of levels. But she refused, and good for her, because she actually had power. Right? She refused. Many ways, this story is about who has power, who doesn't have power. And Vashti, she had power. She refused and said, I don't care what you say, just because you're the king, I'll deal with it. And she did. She refused, and that upset the king a lot. But, and he didn't know what to do, and the best answer that his advisors could give to him was, you can't let her get away with this, because if she gets away with this, think about what all the wives of Shushan will try to do to their husbands. Boy, this story is not as fun as it used to be, I guess. Right, well, what do you know? The king took at least what his plan for not letting her get away with it was, he was going to let her get away, and he had this was going to have a beauty pageant or contest to see who would be his next queen. Truth is that we like to call it a beauty pageant or contest. Probably was something else. I'll let you read the Megillah to figure out what you think it might have been. But, and at this point, we meet two of our great characters, Marduk and Ishtar. Oh, wait, no. Not Marduk, it's Mordechai, and not Ishtar, it's Esther. But boy, oh, wait, that one wasn't very comfortable for you to hear either, was it? All of a sudden, you're like, wait. Are two of our favorite characters in all of Judaism actually Babylonian names? Oh, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I'm not sure. Anyway, by the way, first part I'm going to read from does not have that dastardly guy's name in it, but the next one will. And if someone wants, I did take out groggers for anyone to blot out that guy's name. Whenever you hear the name Haman or Haman, you take this thing and you eat it. Wait, no, you do not eat these things. You just shake them. So, this is the, wait, I need the two of you guys here. Actually, though, you've got, come help me. Come here, help me. Yeah, you can come too, yeah. Come here. All right, so here, you hold this side. Just that. And you hold this side over here. Wait. Okay, you hold this. Now, but higher, please. How am I supposed to read that? No. This way. All right. So, here we got, all right, so don't worry, there's no sign of Haman in this first part. All right. Ish Yehudi haya b'Shushan habira u'shemo Mordechai. Ben Yair, Ben Shim'i, Ben Kish, Ish Mini, Asher Higala, Yerushalayim, Im Hagolah Asher Higalta, Im Yechoniah, Melech Yehuda. That part meant there was a man, a Jewish man in Shushan, the capital, and his name was Mordechai, the son of Yair, the son of Shimi, the son of Kish. Boy, that's cool. You get great-grandfathers' names in here. And he was a Benjaminite who was part of the exiles who came from Jerusalem, with all those who were exiled with King Yechoniah, the king of Judah. Hikalah, Nebuchadnezzar, Melech Bavel, the ones who were exiled by Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. Vayhi Omen et Hadassah, and he looked after this person named Hadassah. He Esther, which is another way of calling her Esther. Bat Dodo, the daughter of his uncle. So it's clear, the daughter of his uncle. So therefore, if Esther was the daughter of Mordechai's uncle, was he her uncle? No, they were cousins. Just telling you. So from this point on, no one call him her uncle anymore. Cousins. Okay. Kissing cousins? Is that what you said? Oh, first cousins. Not kissing cousins. Ki ein la av v'em, for she did not have a mother or a father. I just lost my spot. Ki ein la av v'em. Oh, here. V'hana'ara yafat toar, and she was beautiful. V'tovat mareh, and absolutely stunning to look at. Now, the story continues. Keep holding it. But you can lower it if your arms are tired. So, the story continues, right, that that she became the queen, and she moved into the palace. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. She moved into the palace. That's correct, after being super enchanting to the king. And she lived in the palace, and Mordecai, who was her what? Cousin, correct. Mordecai hung out by the palace. And why do you think he hung out by the palace? Just to make sure everything was going okay for her, because he didn't know, like, would it be, if she's Jewish, would it be bad? Well, what do you know? One day when he was hanging out by the palace, he did bump into these two guys who were named Bigtan and Teresh, and because he was just at the palace gates all the time. And Bigtan and Teresh were two of the guards of the palace gates, and he overheard them trying to overthrow the king and murder the king, assassinate the king. And he told the king about this, and it was recorded in the king's, wait, hold on one second. No, you're going to keep holding it, I'm just moving. In the king's diary. Now, meanwhile, find the book of records. What evs? Hold this now. Now, so, soon after, they were having one of their little powwows in the palace, and what do you know? Get ready with your groggers. All right. Achar advarim ha'eleh, after some time, Gidel HaMelech Achashverosh et Haman. That's right. That's right. Now, so after some time, the king promoted Haman. Ben Amarata Ha'agagi V'nesiehu V'yasem et kiso me'al kol asarim asher oto. And this guy who I just mentioned, whose name starts with the letter H, didn't say it. He was the son of Maratah, who was an Agagite. By the way, Agagites were the descendants of Amalekites. Anyway, and he raised him up and placed him in a chair above all the other ministers. Asher, Ito, hold on, a little higher. Thank you. Okay, better. Asher Ito v'chol avdei hamelech, and all of the servants of the king. Asher b'sha'ar hamelech, at the gate of the king. And what he would do was, whenever he was at the gate, he would have, the king said, everyone would have to korim umishtachavim le Haman. That's right. Everyone had to bow down to Haman. The king said that would be what you can lower it a little bit. Okay, so, you higher, all right. Only because this is Purim am I okay with this. But I'm getting dizzy. In a second, I'm holding it. Okay, where are we? Be careful, because also we don't want it to rip. No, we don't want it to rip. Even if we're having fun, we don't want it to rip. Okay, so where was I? Wait, stop. Okay. Okay, so it says, Ki ken tziva hamelech, because that was what the king had ordered. Mordechai lo yicharev lo yishtachaveh, and Mordechai wouldn't bow and wouldn't kneel. Why didn't he bow and kneel, by the way? Yes?
Because he's a Jew, and Jews only bow and kneel to God.
See? Believe it or not, that is what we teach you, but that's not true. Let me say that differently. That's what other people have taught you, but it's not true. By the way, Jews are allowed to bow down to public officials. In fact, not only are we allowed, but we are even instructed to do so. So, Mordecai refusing to bow down was his own choice. If you want to know why, by the way, it's because I told you before. I just kind of snuck it in. It's because Haman was an Agagite, and he was a descendant of Amalek, which means that it's not that he was bowing down, it was bowing down to this particular person who was a descendant of our arch enemy, and he wouldn't bow down to our arch enemy. Now, back to this. Wait. Mordecai, lo yicharev lo yishtava, and Mordecai wouldn't bow or kneel. Vayomru avdei hamelech, and so the workers of the king said, that were at the gate said, LeMordechai, Madua ata over et mitzvat hamelech. Why are you ignoring the rules of the king? Okay, I got this from now on. You can let go.
Oh, finally.
I know, finally is right. Why do you ignore the rules of the king? Let me find my spot again. Vayihi be'omram elav yom v'yom v'lo shomea alehem vayegidu lehaman lirot ya'amdu divrei Mordechai. So ki higid lahem asher hu Yehudi. So they said, the workers every day would tell Mordecai, why aren't you bowing, and encourage him to bow. But he said, no, it's because I'm a Jew. So you're right, that's what Mordecai said, but it's not that I'm not allowed, it's I'm a Jew, so I won't bow down to this guy. If you want to understand, think about a common corollary. If there was, God forbid, Adolf Hitler's great-grandchild, that's right, great-grandchild, who said, you got to bow down to me. I'd be like, look, I know I'm encouraged to bow down to people in power, but you're not getting it. And that's what Mordecai was doing, by the way. And every day they would ask him why he wouldn't do it. He said he was Jew. And then they said, all right, fine, well, let's see how it's going to go. We'll bring this up with Haman and see what he's going to do about it. All right, so, it's one more line. Vayar Haman ki ein Mordechai. Okay, I tried to do it fast. Koreu mishtachavelo vayichola Haman chama. So Haman saw that he wouldn't bow down, and Haman got very angry. Well, what do you know? Time passed, like 6 or 7 columns passed. And Haman had been, he had gotten, he convinced King Ahasuerus to create an edict to expel all the Jews. But he did so very wisely. He said to Ahasuerus, all these Jews do things differently than we do here. And you know what? We could get rid of them. I could take their money, and I could give it to you. And Ahasuerus was like, did you just say you could take their money and give it to me? And Haman said, yeah. Said, yeah. And so Sinwar said, Haman said, and so Ahasuerus gave him permission to do this edict. But something was still just getting to that dastardly guy. And he says, and let me find the, Vayomer, so he sat down with his wife. Anybody know what his wife's name is? What's Haman's wife's name? That's what she goes by, but it's Zeresh was her name. Anyway, so Vayomer Haman, Avlo Hevia Esther Hamalka Im Hamelech El Amishte Asher Asata. He said that this is, like Esther has invited and asked me to come to her party with the king that she did. Ki im oti v'gam lemachar, because and only me v'gam lemachar. Also tomorrow, I have been told to come la im hamelach, to go with her, with the king, to another party. V'chol zeh einenu shaveli, and all of this means nothing to me. The fact that I was invited to a party with just the king and queen 2 times, it all means nothing to me. B'chol eight, at all this time, asher ani ro'eh et Mordechai ha-Yehudi yoshev b'sha'ar hamelech. Every time, it all means nothing to me because I have to constantly look at that Mordechai guy who sits at the gate of the palace. Vatomer lo Zeresh. You could grog for her name too if you want, because she's. And so Zeresh said, his wife, V'chol ohavav, and all of his friends, Ya'asu eitz gova chamishim ama, make a tall gallows that's 50 feet high, or 50, not meters, it's just omah, so something like 50 feet high. And make a tall gallows, here, wrong column. Uvavoker, and in the morning, Amar Lamelech, tell the king, Vayitlu et Mordechai alav, that he should hang Mordechai on it. Uva im hamelech el hamishte, and then you can go to the king's party, sameach, happy, vayitiv, and just glad. Hadavar lifnei Haman vayas ha'etz. And this also made that Haman guy very happy, and he made the gallows. So the story gets very interesting because over the next 2 columns, maybe 1 column, the king, Ahasuerus, is having a hard time sleeping. And so what happens whenever you can't sleep? You take out your nightlight and you read. Now, unfortunately, though, there weren't that many books back then. However, there were diaries and records, correct? Books of records. And so the king said to his reader, read, just go ahead and read. Maybe it'll bore me and put me to sleep. Well, he read, and one of the things he read was that historical story in which Mordechai had told the king about that plot to assassinate him. And the king says, I realize I never even did anything to thank him. And so the next morning, he's sitting in his palace with Haman, and he says to him, what should I do to a person that I want to honor? How should I treat them? And the H guy's name, you don't know who I was talking about, it was Harvey I was referring to in that. He thought Ahasuerus was referring to him. Well, Ahasuerus wasn't, he was referring to Mordecai. But Haman said to Ahasuerus, he said, I think what you ought to do is you ought to put him on your horse and have him paraded around the streets saying, look what happens to the person who a king wants to honor. And Achashverosh told him, he said, great, do that for Mordecai. And trust me, that I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when that happened. It's exactly right. He's like, do that for Mordecai. And Haman is like, wait, what? Not just not him, but also his arch enemy. So needless to say, he wasn't going to hang him on the gallows that morning because he needed to parade him through the streets on a horse. Well, meanwhile, I neglected to talk about the part where Mordecai had said to Esther, like, you got to do something about this whole issue, this whole edict to exterminate all the Jews. Well, so Esther's plan was that she was going to have these two parties, the two that the H fellow was referring to, and I didn't say his name, and I may have been implying it, but I didn't say it. Well, at the second party, the story goes like this: Vayavo Amelech vit Haman. The king and the other guy went lishtot im Esther, to drink with Esther, Hamalka, the queen. Vayomer Amelech Esther, and the king said to Esther, Gam bayom hasheni b'mishteh yayin ma sha'alticha Esther, Hamalka. So he's like, this is our second little party we're having here. What is it that you want? And v'tinaten lecha uma bikashtecha ad chetzi hamalchut v'ta'as. And he says to her, look, I'd be willing to give you up to half my kingdom. And v'ta'an Esther. And Esther responded, vatomer, and she said, imatzati chen be'enecha, if I have found favor in your eyes. Hamelech ve'im al hamelech tov, and if everything is going okay for you today, she was just trying to be very respectful. Because there is this belief that you can't just go ask for something for the king unless you're summoned. But she said, Tinaten li nafshi, give me my life, bisha'alti, as I'm asking, vit ami, and also my people, bikashti, that I am requesting, ki nim karenu ani ve'ami, for we are being sold, me and my people, lashmid, to be destroyed, larog, to be killed, laved, to be another word for destroyed, ve'ilu la'avadim ulashifachot. And if it were just that we were going to become slaves, nim karenu, we were sold into slavery, hecharashti, I would have been silent. Ki ein chatzer shaveh benezek hamelech, because it's not worth your time. Vayomer Amelech, and so the king said, Vayomer Melech Achashverosh, King Achashverosh said, Vayomer Esther, and he said to Esther, Hamalka, the queen, Mi hu zeh, who is this that you're referring to? Ve'izeh, and how is this possible? Hu asher ma'u libo la'asot ken. Who is it that is so filled with evil that would want to do such a thing? Vatomer Esther, ish tsar ve'oyev. Esther said, the man who is my enemy, and his name is Haman Hara. The evil Haman. Ve'aman niv'at milifnei hamelech, and ve'hamalka, and Haman, he snuck out from before the king and the queen. I think we'll stop there, but I think you get the idea. So here is the fun question. So, let's talk about three people. Let's talk about the guy whose name is H, which starts with the letter H. Let's talk about the king whose name is Achashverosh. And let's talk about Mordechai. Okay? So, based on what you have learned all these years, which one of those three is kind of a fool? Yeah? Zach? Okay, he is a fool, there's no question about it. But I think that most of us have always thought of the king. King Achashverosh as kind of a fool who just does whatever everyone says and just is having parties. And which one of them do we think of as powerless in the story? Yeah? Mordechai. Remember, it's only people I'm talking about are Mordechai, Haman, and Achashverosh. Achashverosh is the fool. Mordechai is the Jew who has very little power. And Haman is evil. He's evil, right? In truth, the fool is Mordechai. The powerless one is Haman. And the wicked one is Achashverosh. The fool is Mordechai, and why? It's because he put our people in jeopardy, claiming that he couldn't bow down to the H guy. But in doing so, he almost had us all killed. And he could have bowed down. He just didn't want to. And I understand his reason. I gave you the analogy. And I think we can all understand it. But his choice, and if he knows, like especially once he knew that there was an edict of expulsion and murder of us, I'd like to think that he might have backtracked a little bit from his insistent stubbornness. I'd like to think that maybe he would have said, all right, you know what, I'm just going to give in on this one. And the powerless one? The H guy. And why? He could only do what the king would let him do. And even when he got what he wanted, he still couldn't really make it happen because he was too busy parading Mordechai around on a horse. And he wasn't even, he even needed, and I'm not saying that wives don't give good advice, they give great advice. However, I don't think when you think about this story, I don't think you think, oh, it was his wife who gave him the idea of hanging Mordechai on the gallows. Rather, you're like, oh, it was all of his wicked, diabolical, evil plan. But he didn't really have much of a plan. He just didn't really have much of anything. And Achashverosh, by the way, not just in the case of the first time when the H fella said, hey, let's get rid of these Jews and you can just take their belongings and their possessions. But also, Achashverosh flipped it after the edict was changed. And in the last chapter of the book of Esther, it's kind of not read very often. And you know why? Because it's kind of nasty. And it's about how we, as Jews, went and killed anybody we wanted to just for fear, lest they come and kill us. But we were given permission to do this by the king, and why? Because we said, you can keep all of the spoils that happen as a result of this. The king would agree to anything for money, and did just that. In truth, is that had it not been for the king, I think we would have been in a much better place. And certainly that not only did the king benefit from our near misfortune, but benefited from the misfortune of all the people living in Shushan at the time. The very fact that I share this with you kind of confirms something which I think you already knew, which is that this is a surreal story. Up is down and down is up. We don't know what's real and what's not. We don't know who we can trust nor who we can't trust. And I'll tell you something else. And that's one of the reasons why why we are commanded to drink on Purim. It's how do you cope with a world in which people can be sent out to be exterminated just because of one small thing. And that's been the story of us. And 364 days of the year, we live and we worry and we consider and we are aware of our surroundings. And just one day, we just permit ourselves not to think about that stuff. It's a really, and the more things change, the more they stay the same. So, I think we've gone on long enough. We're going to continue with, we're going to skip Elena, we're just going to go to the Kaddish, and that is on page 598. But before I invite you to rise, I would just like to share with you names of people who are from our congregation who have passed away. First, I'd like to share with you the name of two people who have passed away quite recently: Roberta Angel, mother of Joe Angel, and Dana Miller-Levy, the mother of Erica Lungelhofer. And in addition, I'd like to share with you these names of loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on the Shabbat. It's the anniversary of their passing: Ann Harris, Margaret Buchanan, Joseph Hamer, Louis Loeb Ringel, Larry Cohen, Marlene Wallman Levin, Lois Rubens, Louis Brown, Richard Greenspan, Ronald Pinsky, and Rolf Blunchley. And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones, if it's your custom, I invite you to rise for the Kaddish. It's on, again, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechal beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach, li'alam u'lamei amayah, Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'elamin kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. Amen. Please be seated. I know I went a little long, but it was because I was having so much fun. Let me just quickly, a handful of announcements. Thank you to Heidi Schnapp and Sarit Brosh, who served as ushers. Thank you so much to Candy Kozielski, Betty and Don Morgenstern for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat. Thank you to you all for being here and joining me. I mentioned earlier, I'll mention again, tomorrow night, Adult Purim, free event, but I want you to dress up if you come. You can't just come. I'll be in costume, not just a wig. Tachbat is on April 12th, Cabaret Night. That's going to be a lot of fun with Schleppenwolf is the name of the musical band with Tom Weider. It's going to be a phenomenal event on April 20th. Please. And I understand, we actually, believe it or not, it's one of the few events that we have which has a limit to the number of people who can come. So, and believe it or not, we have already sold half of the tickets. So please, if you are interested in coming to this, sign up earlier than later. Passover Community Seder on the 28th of April. Men's Club, annual meeting, there's lots of stuff, but you can find it in our weekly email and on our website. Okay, so we're just going to do, have I said everything? Yes, we're just going to do one final blessing and then one final song. The Motzi, Join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Okay, so our closing song is called La Yehudim, and it can be found on page 640. And the reason why we're singing this is because though this song is known for being a part of Havdalah, in truth, this song comes from, well, it is not, that's true. And also, it is straight from the book of Esther. And so the words, La Yehudim Hayata Ora, which means for the Jews, there was light, V'simcha, and joy and happiness, V'sason, Vikar, gladness, and honor. Page 640 if you want. And and this is after we triumphed. This is the words that were referred to in the Book of Esther, La Yehudim. La Yehudim Hayta Ora, V'simcha V'sason Vikar. La Yehudim Hayta Ora, V'simcha V'sason Hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason vikar. La Yehudim hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason vikar. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Happy Purim. I hope to see you tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you out in the lobby for an Oneg Shabbat with Hamantashen. Hamantashen-filled Oneg Shabbat. It's pretty much just Hamantashen with a couple of extra things. I love Hamantashen. La Yehudim hayta ora. La Yehudim hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason vikar. La Yehudim hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason vikar. Shabbat Shalom to all people who are watching on the stream. I do know Merv's on there. Hi, Merv.
Hey, Murph.
I think my mom and my dad are. Hi, Abba. Hi, Imam.
Abba,
Nice to
Imam.
see you. And anyone else, if you just text me before or email me before services saying you're going to be on, you get a shout out just like those two.
There you go.
Anyway, take care, everyone.